7-2, not 2-1, not 3-1, not 4-2, not 5-2, not 6-2, 7 goals to 2. Barcelona didn't just win this game, they made a statement. And if Atletico Madrid were watching this game, and trust me, they were, they should be worried. Very, very worried. Because this wasn't just a victory, this was a warning shot ahead of the quarterfinals. But here's the thing, when you really look beyond the scoreline, this game tells a much deeper story. Because for 45 minutes, Barcelona were actually playing a very dangerous game. Let's start with the first half. Now, yes, Barcelona opened scoring in the 6th minute through Raphinha, and that's already an improvement from what we have seen this season. Because usually, Barca starts slow, concede first, and then spend the rest of the game trying to recover. So on the surface, you'd think, okay, this is progress, but if you watch the first half closely, you'd notice one thing. Barca were never in control. We were too open, too transitional, too exposed, and in doing this, we played right into Newcastle's hands. Because Newcastle, a typical Premier League side, are one of those teams. You don't give them chaos, you don't give them space, you don't give them moments. Because if you do, they will punish you, and to be very fair to them, they were clinical in the first half. Every time Barcelona lost structure, Newcastle looked very dangerous. Every transition felt like something could happen. Every turnover felt like a potential goal. And that for me is the concern, because at the highest level, especially in the Champions League, you will not always get the chance to recover. We've seen this before. Think about Atlético Madrid in the Copa del Rey first leg at the Wanda Metropolitano this season. We lost the first half 4-0, the first leg 4-0, and even though we did all we could in the second leg, we couldn't recover. If we're being honest, that first half against Atlético Madrid still remains one of the worst performances by this team in recent times. Imagine we played against a team like PSG the way we played against Newcastle in the first half. It could have been over by halftime. So yes, at the end of the first half, Barcelona were ahead, 3-2 ahead, courtesy of a late penalty goal by Lamine Yamal, but this was not a comfortable performance. It was a very risky performance. And that's what makes what happened next even more important, because then the second half started. It was like watching a different team. I don't know what Hansi Flick said in that dressing room, but whatever it was, it worked. Because the Barcelona that came out in the second half was controlled, composed, and ruthless. They were still aggressive, but now it was coordinated. No chaos, structure. No rushing, control. The gung-ho approach disappeared completely. Instead, we saw patience, we saw intelligence, we saw a team that understood the game state. And suddenly, Newcastle were the ones chasing the ball, chasing the game, chasing shadows. They could hardly get possession, they could hardly build anything. Barcelona didn't just attack, they controlled, and that's a huge difference. Because dominance is not just about scoring goals, it is about controlling the game, and that is what Barcelona did to perfection in the second half. And then the moment that changed everything, the fourth goal, early in the second half, and that was it. Newcastle's energy dropped, their belief dropped, the game was gone. From that moment on, there was no comeback. It was no longer whether Barcelona would win, it was about how many, and Barcelona took full advantage. They didn't slow down, they didn't relax, they punished, and they did it with authority. Now, let's talk about the individuals because some performances stood out. First, Lamine Yamal. That boy is special, and I don't say that lightly, because what makes him different is not just his talent, it's his decision making. He is 18, but he doesn't play like a young player trying to impress. He plays like someone that understands the rhythm of the game. When to pass, when to dribble, when to create, that level of maturity is rare. Yes, he made a mistake that led to Newcastle's second equalizer, but when you consider what he brings to this team on a consistent basis, it can be forgivable. Then Raphinha. This is the version Barcelona need. Direct, aggressive, efficient. When he plays like this, he stretches defenses, creates space, and forces mistakes. He scored 2 goals and got 2 assists, extending his fine form from the hat-trick he scored against Sevilla in the La Liga last weekend. A man of the match performance once again. And then the midfield, led by none other than Pedri. They were the engine of everything. They didn't just play passes, they controlled the tempo, they managed transitions, they controlled the game. And in the second half especially, they owned the match. What impressed me the most tactically was not just how Barcelona played, but how they adjusted. Because great teams don't just play well, they adapt. That was something we did very well in the second half. Newcastle were not able to respond, and that was how we controlled the game, killed the game, and destroyed them in the second half. This wasn't random attacking anymore. This was organized domination. But now, let's bring this back to reality, because Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals will be a completely different challenge. They are not Newcastle. They don't give you space, they don't open up, they don't lose structure. They wait, they frustrate, and then they punish. And this is where things get very interesting, because this quarterfinal is not just another game, it's a rematch. Barcelona lost to Atletico Madrid 4-3 over 2 legs, and that wasn't just a loss, that was a lesson. Now we have a clash of styles. Barcelona, fluid, attacking, expressive. Atletico Madrid, disciplined, compact, ruthless. And Atletico will be watching this game thinking, if Barcelona play like they did in the first half, we can hurt them, we can destroy them. So if Barcelona wants revenge, 3 things must happen. They must be patient, they must be clinical, and they must be defensively disciplined. Because we cannot afford to play against them the way we played in the first leg in the Copa del Rey at their stadium. That will be suicidal. If Barcelona play like they did in the second half, then this is not the team that lost 4-3. This is a team evolving, this is a team learning, this is a team getting stronger at the right time. 7-2 is not just a scoreline, it's a message, and Atletico Madrid just received it. The question is now simple. Are Barcelona ready for revenge? Or are Atletico Madrid ready to break them again? We are about to find out. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Can Barcelona beat Atletico Madrid this time? I would love to hear from you. Let's engage. Until then, live well, be safe, and Visca Barca.